All right, so next we are going to hear from NEHA's Region 2 Vice President, Michelle DiMaggio, on seeking mentors and mentorship.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle DiMaggio. I am a NEHA Region 2 Vice President. Region 2 is California, Hawaii, Nevada, and Arizona. But my day job is Contra Costa County Environmental Health Division as a supervising environmental health specialist, specifically in the retail food program. Today, I'm going to talk to you about seeking mentors and mentorship. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? All right. So in my life, I realized, and it's been a long career, and I realized that I actually have heroes in my life. I have people who I never realized that I looked back at and found that they really influenced who I am today. And not only who I am, but what I've become in my life. As you see two pictures here, the top picture is my professor in school. She was an entomologist named Dr. Sue Up, and she's the one who really influenced me in entomology. So I loved animals. I thought fur things, getting into mammalogy, but then I switched it up because of her and really started loving bugs after that, and have my minor in entomology, and it was because of her. Not only that, but she also saw my potential. She saw that I had the love of science, and she brought that out of me, and she gave me projects and studies that helped bring out that love of science. And the next picture below that is my aunt to the left, my grandma in the middle, and then my mom to the right. These are the three strongest women I know in my life. And again, after many years, I realized that they very much influenced me in my personality and who I am and the strength that I hope I have. So how do I define as a hero? So thinking about people who have been in my life, who I consider heroes, even now, I have many heroes in my life that I truly appreciate. And when I think about them, to me, a hero is helpful, which gives you the H. E, they're always going to leave an everlasting impression. R, they help me build relationships, not only relationships with them, but others around us and even further than that. So they help me network. And they all are outside of themselves. They think about me, they think about you, they think about everybody else. So to me, that's how I define a hero. There was an article that was published in 2015 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology that suggested that heroes have 12 central traits. If you're interested, I put the link on the bottom here. But some of those traits I kind of brought up in my previous slide, and you might want to think about who's your hero. So who has the bravery? Who has that conviction, that gumption? Who has the courage that you've seen, the determination? Who's been helpful? Who's been honest? Who's been inspirational? Who has moral integrity? Who's been protective? Who's self-sacrificed? Who's been selflessness, and who's given strength. And then in this article, it talks about each one and the personalities that these heroes actually have and how they express it. So what I'm going to ask during my presentation is, in your school life, it could be preschool, elementary, junior high, high school, university, postgraduate, graduate, as you move forward in their life, school life, and thinking about the following. So I'm going to ask that you kind of split your brain, watch my presentation, but at the same time, think about who has positively guided you. Who in your life, again, in your school life, family life, friend life, who has helped you see your potential? Who has brought you out of your shell? Who do you professionally admire? So again, I'm going to ask you, as during my presentation, just think about that. And at the end, that's something that hopefully that you can have an answer. It could be one person, it could be many people, but these are people that you always want to keep in mind. So first one is, who has positively guided you? What does that mean? What are some of the qualities of positive guidance? Positive guidance could be a counselor or someone who's counseled you, especially during school. That is especially important. I've had people that have said, you know what, you're really good at this. Why don't you try doing this? But I've also had people that were negative. To tell you a story, in high school, um, I had a counselor, and I went to a school that was not in such a good neighborhood. Not too many people, if any, moved on to college. The area where I lived, there was a military site that was nearby, a military base. So usually people went into the military. And at that time, it was mostly the guys that went into the military. And consequently, most of my friends would get married or pregnant, not married. Some have passed away before graduating. And I had a counselor that I think that just came to her first mind. And when I went to go talk to her, I had asked about some of the potentials of what to do after high school. And her thought was, well, why do you have to worry about that? You're just going to get pregnant anyways and get married, so you don't have to worry about that. That is not a positive guidance. So thinking about who in your life has been a positive counselor for you, who's been a good educator, who showed you the path, who showed you the way. My stepfather was one of those people. I can think back as a young child. He took me to bookstores. At that time, there was a bookstore with a cafe. So he'd have me go and choose a book, and he'd sit down and have his coffee, and I'd sit down and read my book and have my hot chocolate. So at that some way, he was an educator because he was really getting me interested in books. And since then, I do love books. Who's an advocate for you? Who has spoken up for you when you feel like you're not able to speak for yourself, and you know you can do it, but you just have not been able to just stand up to say, I can do it? Who has been that for you? Who's been your advocate? And you wanted to, especially moving forward in your career, who has been that person that's going to stand up for you? And sooner or later, if you don't have that voice now, you will, but there's also somebody who will be there for you, who would say, hey, you know what? I noticed that you're really good at this. Why won't you try for this? I'll be right there for you. I'll support you, with you 100%. And they are your advocate. Who's been empathetic? And through life, especially in school with the stresses of life, there's somebody there that just really is there for you, who is going to listen to you, who's going to take the time for you. And one of the things I learned many years ago is the difference between sympathetic and empathetic. And I tell my team and others this often. What I've learned, the difference between sympathetic and empathetic is, sympathetic is if you see somebody in a hole and they can't get out. Sympathetic means you go in that hole and you're with them in that hole. Empathetic means if that person is in that hole, you try to find a way to get them out. You give them a ladder, you give them a rope, but you don't go in the hole with them. You help them to get out of that hole. And so who's that person that's been there for you and will be there for you? Who's been truthful? Oh, that is so important. Even the days when you really don't want to hear it, there always needs to be somebody there that's going to be truthful. So all of these, find that person and they will positively guide you, guarantee it. So again, who has helped you see your potential? who's been there for you. And I really love this photo because it's the kitten who actually is actually a lioness. And they just kitten has really have not seen what they're about to be, but if they look in the mirror, they know that they have that strength, that knowledge, the skills, the abilities to get there. So think about who that is. And even if you don't have anybody now, keep that in your mind as you move forward in life, because believe me, when you find that person and they help you see your potential, you're really going to grow from that. And especially in self-esteem. In life, I started with the low self-esteem, and the people I've met throughout my life, and especially now the people that I call my heroes, they have helped me so much in achieving my potential. Who brought you out of the shell? So sometimes as we start off in life, we might be shy, we might be an introvert, might be nervous. One of the things, again, that when I was growing up, I didn't really speak up much, or I was not too active in, I guess you would say, doing things. I made a lot of friends, but I was really never the go-getter, I guess you would say. And in college, I learned, again, this is Dr. Opp and others in university, who helped bring me out of my shell, because they saw who I am, and they saw the knowledge that I have, and they told me that, and they showed me that, and they gave me projects that helped me see what I can do. And again, over the years, hopefully my shell is broken and I'm out of my shell. But I've had, again, people who help me do that. Who do you professionally admire? In school, it can also be your professors, it can be friends. If you have a job, it could be somebody you're working with or your boss. It could be somebody that you study with. Professionally, who do you admire? Who is it that you say, you know what, I'm thinking about that career, and this is who I think is really cool, and I really like what they're doing, and I kind of want to do that. Or thinking forward, if you know your path and where you want to go. For example, I'm going to say environmental health. Environmental health is cool. Who in environmental health do you professionally admire? Who do you feel like, you know what, they're a place I want to go. They're a county I want to go. They're a state, a federal, U.S. Public Health Service, for example. And there's many careers you have in front of you and available. And there are people who will show you the way, and will show you what is in store for you as you move forward. So you find that person, look around. When you're at the conference, believe me, when you're at the AEC, you're going to find so many people that just I admire, and hopefully you get to meet them. So I wanted to bring this article to you. I saw this, and it was 11 qualities of highly admired people. I put the link here for you. It was from Indeed. And I thought this was so important, because what is admiration? Yeah, you might find that this person in this career is doing a lot of projects, and they're getting their name written up, they're doing articles, but who is that person? And so when I looked through this article, I really just came to mind the people that I feel that I admire. They're open to change. If something occurs and they just have to go with the flow, I guess you could say, they're open to change. They're open to negotiation. They have humility. They're loyal. Their accountability. They're accountable for their actions. If something occurs, they'll admit that, hey, maybe it was their fault, or maybe it was something that they did but they're willing and able to take the blame if needed. They're resilient, they're strong, they bounce back. And I mentioned this before, honesty, they're honest, they're truthful with you. They're respectful. They're respectful of the people around you. They're respectful around the people around them. And they show respect to anybody. And that takes a lot. Their compassion. Compassion is so hard to find these days. And their compassion about multiple things and people. And again, this is what I was talking about is empathy. They show empathy. Integrity. They're faithful. They will be there for you. They will keep their strength. They will always make sure that what they say, if yes means yes, no means no. And they will, they are the people who you want to go to. And they will show gratitude. They're always grateful to the things in their life. And these are the people, again, as you look at this, and hopefully you get to read this article, 11 qualities, highly admired people, they're out there. If you don't know them now, believe me, you will know them. And just keep some of these qualities in mind. So when I talk about mentors, let's talk about mentoring now. Mentoring I thought was difficult at first. I hadn't done it for a long time, but thinking about it, I really have been doing mentoring as I grew. And as I grew in my career, I didn't know I was becoming a mentor. So what is mentoring itself? It's showing a direction, it's training, it's providing support. And again, as you see, this empathy, it's giving that motivation. It is setting the goals, and it's showing success. So there are multiple, I guess, words for mentoring, but in my research that I found in this article, I put the link here for you. This was a great article that talked about what is mentoring. And you're probably mentoring now and you don't even know it. But over the years, you'll realize that as you meet more people, as you move into your careers and in your life, you'll be a mentor and you won't even know it. So how do you become a mentor? As I mentioned, you might already be a mentor, not even know it. But what I did is I found this cool saying from a quote from Phil Collins. And I don't know if you know who Phil Collins is, but he is a really good singer, and especially in the 80s. And why don't you look him up? And he has some really good songs. But his quote was, "In learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn." And again, in your life now, even in universities, you're not only learning, but you're also teaching, and you might not even know it. In your career, you'll learn different aspects of your profession, of your job, your career, and then you'll pass that forward. You'll pass that forward to somebody who's around you, who's on your team, or who you have to collaborate with. So what will make you a good mentor? Again, I'm going to go back to considering your school and university life. Think about, again, who do or will you be inspirational to? Or how will you be inspirational? How will you move forward in your life now and in the future and be inspirational? What's your passion? What do you feel like you can just help somebody who doesn't have the same passion maybe become passionate about when it comes to public health, environmental health, and the specific programs? If you're a water person, I'm a food safety person. There's many aspects out there. So how do you become inspirational? Will you become a sculptor? So sculpture means that how will you form people? Or how will you form somebody who maybe is put in front of you and you're their teacher, you're their trainer, you're their supervisor, you're their manager? How do you positively help them become the person they're supposed to be. And will you become a coach? Coaching is so important. Either if you're not a manager, if you're not a supervisor in life, friends, family, colleagues, you will be a coach. So how do you do that? Again, there was the article that I mentioned earlier, the 10 characteristics of good mentoring, had some really good tips in there. And this was one of the 3 that I chose to help you think about considering how are you going to become a good mentor. And then mentoring in the future, think about look to the programs that you might have available to you now in your university, your school. What's available? What programs are available? Is there an opportunity for you to maybe help somebody who needs assistance with the subject? Or is there a program where you might be able to go into a community to help them with, for example, volunteer programs? Specifically, maybe there is a high school program, a mentorship program, where the high school might be able to go, be able to meet with the university, and you mentor them in how to get into a university, or your specific subject matter. Maybe there's somebody in high school that just not sure if they want to go to university, but you're in a subject matter that's super cool and you want to share that. So what opportunities are there with you? NEHA has tons of opportunities. And if you go onto their website, and I put the website here, professional development for students. So it's called Students and Emerging Professionals. They have career tips and opportunities. I'm sure they're going to talk a whole bunch about that at the AEC. But especially they will show you some of the opportunities for mentorship and being mentored. On the left-hand side, you're going to see my first real opportunity I had to be a mentor. I was not only an instructor, but a mentor in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And this group that you see here, you see some of the other what I call heroes or mentors in the background. And in the front with the white shirts on, these were students from a high school that we got to spend a day and talk to them about environmental health. We got to talk to them about food safety. And along with that were the new Virgin Island health inspectors. So they also became mentors. And I put E for everlasting because they have left an everlasting impression in my heart. And since then, mentorship has just been that's my new passion. And I'm hoping I can pass that passion on to you. As you move forward in life, you always want to make sure you pay it forward, because there's always somebody out there that just not sure where to go in life. And hopefully you can be a mentor and seek that person, or that person seeks you. Again, my name is Michelle DiMaggio, and I'm the NEHA Region 2 Vice President. And thank you for your time. And I'm hoping to see you in the mentorship world. Thank you.